What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since I posted on YouTube, but that's okay. Trying to get back into the mode of being consistent and posting videos every day. Now, first of all, before I start this video, I would like to say thank you to everybody who helped me out on yesterday. All those people who sent gifts and even came and brought things to the house and done whatever they could to help me and my kids out. I left off uh, in with my last video in kind of I can say the uproar because during that time I was kind of upset that I was pregnant and I was kind of really going through mentally. So now I am 23 weeks pregnant, and I went through the phase of being high risk and going to all of these doctors and them telling me uh, that I have to get certain procedures and there would be a 50-50 chance that baby would live or baby would die if I got the procedure. Then if I didn't get the procedure, there would be a 50% chance that she would live or die. So I kind of went through that phase of, you know what I'm saying, like really not wanting the baby. But then after hearing everything that they said about baby being able to, there's a chance that baby was going to die and all of this other stuff, it was kind of like, Lord, I want my baby. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God that now everything is good. She had an issue with blood rushing through her brain too fast, and they were afraid that she was going to be or going to have anemia. So that means they would have had to give her a blood transfusion while she is still in me, and that's what the risk was of the 50-50. Because they was like, it might work, it might not work, this and that. So thank God they ended up doing a different procedure to test the amniotic fluid that was around her, and she does not have the Keltrait, and that's what they were worried about because I got a blood transfusion with my last baby, and I contracted a Keltrait from the blood that they gave me, and they told me that it could be harmful to the baby. So we have to test it all to make sure dad doesn't have it, to make sure baby doesn't have it, and all of that. So thank God that all those tests came back negative, and now everything is starting to become fine. My last doctor's visit, the blood was rushing through her brain normally, and it wasn't rushing too fast or anything. So we thank God for that. Now moving forward, I have been literally seeing myself. Um, when I left off at the last video, I was really at a place where I wanted to focus on my mental. Now, after dealing with childhood trauma, bad ex-marriage with verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, and like all of that, I found myself putting up all of these walls. And in doing that, I became angry. I became bitter. I became very hard to deal with, right? In relationships. So I became very hard to deal with. So once I realized that I was tired of suppressing things and tired of overlooking things and tired of just doing things anyway, like I was smoking weed heavy and like having countless amount of sex just to ignore the fact that I'm as broken as I really am. So this past weekend, I kind of experienced some pain that I believe I caused myself. Um, I was currently in a relationship, of course, with my baby's father, and he left me. I'm just gonna be all the way transparent with y'all. Like Saturday, he left me. Now I get food stamps, you know what I'm saying, and all of that other stuff. But during this time, like I don't get, I get food stamps like at the beginning of the month. So, the Thanksgiving just passed, and people cooking and everything. So we had food, but it wasn't gonna be enough to last until I got some more stamps. So And me being high risk, I was at a point where I was solely depending on him. He paying all the bills. When I was really sick, he was coming in and cleaning up and washing clothes and making sure the kids had clean clothes for school and make sure the kids took baths. You know what I'm saying? He was doing all of this while I was down and sick. And once I started to feel better and started to be able to get up and do more things, my mind, like my body was feeling better, but my mind was still in a depressed state because I had went through anger stages where I was mad I couldn't make no money. I was upset that my body was going through so much because I really didn't want to be pregnant. And then, of course, being in relationships, those were certain things that, you know what I'm saying, my spouse would want, and I would just be like, no, or I was like, I don't feel like it, or I don't feel good. My head hurt, my stomach hurt. You know what I'm saying? So he was being irritated by the situation as well, and I really want to make it no better because I can be very disrespectful. So in saying that, um, what led up to him leaving was my disrespect. It was the fact that in my mind, um, I was I felt like that's my ghetto wash machine. If y'all can hear it, it just the little spin cycle when it get off track, it just be shaking. But that's all right. We'll get a new washing machine. um, but in my mind, I was feeling like I was forcing myself to be better. I was forcing myself to do better because mentally I'm like, okay, I know I got all this trauma. I know the reasons why I'm saying no to him. Let me go back. Let me go back. So growing up as a kid, as a child, I was molested at 9 years old, and it continued all the way up into high school. So that kind of made me not like the opposite sex, because it wasn't just by one person. There were multiple old men, like really trying to get at me. Like there were a few times where I was just like, no, no, and he would back off. But there was uh, numerous of men who, just kind of was like, either way. But as a child, so I'm 9, 10, 11, 12, growing up and having to deal with this predator like personality from these men. And it just made me build up these walls. I closed myself in. I stopped talking to people. I stopped being social. And I would only talk to myself because I didn't trust anybody at that point. I did tell my mother, and I can remember being at her room at her door, listening to the conversation after I told her. She was asking him like, "Oh, why are you doing this?" She said this, she said that, this and that, and he's just denying everything. So as I'm hearing him deny it, I walk off. I storm off. I'm so upset at this point. I'm so mad at this point, and nothing ever happens. Right? Nothing ever happens. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I blame my mom because we've had our conversation. We've been to a place where she's come and apologized to me about everything that she allowed to happen. In in that, in my grown ages, I started to understand why she used to write her story down in notebooks and just they were like kind of scattered all over the house. Like in our school notebooks and stuff, she would write down some of the things that she went through. So I understood that when my mama went through stuff as a kid, she was molested by not only men, but women as well. People in her family, cousins, you know what I'm saying? So it was like by me understanding now that I'm adult. Because when I was a kid, I used to blame her. I used to blame her so bad. Let me turn this off. I used to blame her so bad for everything that happened to me. But growing up, I had to realize that I can no longer blame her because she did the best that she could. Especially after she did come to me and we did have our conversation. And she kind of cried out to me like, thought I was doing the best thing for you guys by showing you tough love. My mama really didn't do nothing, so I kind of just had to go through that. So I thought I was doing the right thing, right? So by this point, and me and my mom having this conversation, I had already forgiven her because I knew deep down in my heart that if I had not forgiven her and my abusers, I wouldn't have been able to move on. I wouldn't have been able to become a better me and kind of overcome these things, right? So not knowing that now in my grown age, those things still affect me. Far as being in a relationship, when he would have asked me for intimacy or say like I'm not intimate. I'm not an intimate person like I used to be. But in my past marriage, that made me stop being intimate. It made me stop being the nanny nun mom, you know what I'm saying? The nanny nun wife, as I call it, like cooking meals and you got notes in your lunchbox. And when I say greens, cornbread, the whole nine, macaroni and cheese, neck bones, the whole nine, you know what I'm saying? Like when I say he was going to work with plates that niggas wanted to, oh, let me not say that word, but with plates that, the fellas wanted to buy. Um, so it was like in that I kind of gave too much in that relationship because I wasn't receiving it back. So I feel like I gave so much in that relationship that uh, now that we are divorced and I have moved on, it's hard for me to do that again. You know what I'm saying? Like I already didn't like the opposite sex growing up as a child at 9 years old. Starting at 9 years old, like I literally hated the opposite sex. Like I did not understand why things were the way they were. I did not want to be a female. I wanted to be a little boy. You know what I'm saying? But my upbringing and what I know to be true of God, you know what I'm saying? What He basically completely frowns upon because I've been raised in church my whole life. Like being gay, I don't knock the LGBT community. I'm not bashing y'all and none of that. I just don't believe that woman and woman is supposed to be together or man and man is supposed to be together. That is just not my belief. Now, if you believe in that, that's solely upon you. I pray that God, you know what I'm saying, change your mind, change your heart, because the Bible clearly says that it's an abomination. It's just not right. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I love y'all and still whatever you decide and whatever you to choose, I had to learn that you have to love people exactly where they are. So I love y'all and ain't a thing you can do about it. I remember those times when I wanted to be a boy or and I'm not gonna say that I was attracted to women, but I did have a phase where I was attracted to women, but I knew in my heart, you know what I'm saying, that it wasn't right. So I wouldn't go no farther than just watching woman on woman porn. And that's something that I thank God that I've been able to overcome. So I don't even watch porn anymore. And that's some of the things that I struggle with too, you know what I'm saying, with my sexuality and exploring porn and being promiscuous. Like a lot of people tell me don't even use that promiscuous word. Baby, I can only be real with y'all. When I hit the ground, I hit it running. You know what I'm saying? Like I waited till I was 18. But after that, baby, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. And then the guy who I entrusted, we actually dated for over a year. And then I finally gave him my virginity and I found out that he was cheating. So that right there made me not trust men again. So it's like all my life, I see all these different scenarios where I'm not able to trust these men and I'm not able to, I'm just constantly being disappointed, right? So now, when we fast forward to 2023, I'm 33 years old. And from 9 to 33, that's a long time. And I'm really at the point where I'm facing, wanting to face, striving to face all of these childhood traumas, all of these walls that I have built up, all of these things, right? And I find myself getting angry because of how unfair it is. It's unfair. It is unfair. Like I keep running across this post on Facebook that says we didn't cause our pain, but we're responsible for, I'm gonna say, our recovery. It doesn't say, you know, those words to the exact, but it was basically saying I didn't cause the trauma in my childhood, but I am responsible to fix it and to heal, right? Which is not fair. It's not fair. Because I continue to think in my mind, like, why did I have to go through that? Like, why did I have to suffer so much abuse, mental, physical, emotional? You know what I'm saying? Like, so much trauma that now in my older age, I'm bitter, I'm angry. And the more I strive to be a better mom, the more I strive to be a better me and understand who I really am, it gets harder and harder. Like my whole childhood was taken from me. I never got to experience, well, I didn't like high school because it was still going on in high school. So I used high school as an outlet instead of doing what I was supposed to do. Like I wouldn't sleep at home. So I would sleep at school, and I just kind of handled it wrong in my mind because I never, after 9 years old, like once that stuff started happening and I heard that conversation between my parents, I didn't trust no one. I didn't trust nobody. So at that point, I was raising myself. Like, yeah, I cleaned up, done my chores, done what I was supposed to do so I wouldn't get in trouble. But you can't tell me nothing. Can't tell me about myself. You can't expect me to trust your word. Like, none of that. Like, I had literally closed myself off to absolutely anybody and everybody that I felt like was a threat. I had a few friends. I let a few people in, but to a certain extent. Um, so now it's more of trying to be in a relationship, and I'm not even gonna say it like that because I'm literally not even, I'm not gonna say I'm not trying because I am, because I sit back and I realize everything this man has done for me, right? It's actually been 5 years off and on, and we have coming up on two children together. I had a miscarriage with him. So throughout all these 5 years, we have been through a lot. There was times where I cheated. He forgave me and took me back. Um, there were times where we weren't together and he was still showing up for me. Like I can remember him getting my car towed from a friend's house, and we weren't even together. And I can also remember times where, like, he was always a good person to me. He was always genuine. He was always looking out for me. And even when we weren't together, there were times where, like, I would call him just to talk or just to vent. And he would always tell me, as long as you're okay, I know the kids are okay. Right. And when I would call him for anything his son needed, he would make sure to get it to me. Like I would get upset because it didn't come when I wanted it to, but he would make a way the best way he knew how, or the best way he could. So in knowing all of this, now it's been we've been staying together since August. So now, well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say April because wait, no, I'm gonna say June because my lights got cut off in June, and me and his son went to stay with him. My other three kids were with their dad for like a week or so, and we left here and we went to stay with him at his apartment. And that was when I first realized that I was tired of suppressing everything that I was going through. I was tired of ignoring the fact that I am broken. There's something wrong. I can't be consistent. I can't hold down a job. I'm I'm steady trying to make myself believe that I can just be this entrepreneur and just come up without high school diploma or what I'm saying, any ambition. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can't do it because I can. It's in me. You know what I'm saying? But those moments where I'm depressed or life just is lifing, I find myself falling back. I find myself being inconsistent. I find myself quitting things that I start, right? And I was tired at this point. Like, I'm tired of my lights getting cut off. I'm tired of, what I'm saying, things just falling behind. Like, I have to figure out what's wrong, right? So I was already talking about searching for therapy, And it kind of scared me a little. Oh, excuse me. It kind of scared me a little bit. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm thinking about it. I'm saying to myself that I'm going to search for therapy and this, that, and the third, but I hadn't done it yet. So by this time, I was mean. Ooh, baby, I was mean as a junkyard dog. It take for Wayne, I'm gonna say his name. At first, I said I wasn't gonna say his name, but it takes for Wayne to talk about how disrespectful I was and to talk about how mean I was. I can't recall a lot of things that I said to him, but I can tell y'all it's disrespectful. I can tell y'all it's disrespectful. It is like B word and F you and I don't care about this, I don't care about that. Y'all just getting on my nerves and rah, 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 and da, 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 da. Like, and that's what it was. Like, I was not giving him any intimacy. I was not giving him any love. And at this point, he was giving me and my children all that he had. Like, literally. I was not working. He was not working. We were struggling. Like, we was going to pantries. He was, borrowing money left and right to make sure we ate. Like, it was deep, and it was like the deeper it got and the more we struggled, the meaner I got. And so moving forward after we left his apartment, I ended up going to Memphis to stay with my grandparents. I mean, my grandmother and my aunt. And we probably was out there for about, I'm gonna say a few weeks. I really don't know how long it was. I would have to calculate, but for about a few weeks. Because the guy who I was with before Wayne and I decided to get back together, called DCFS on me. So now I'm dealing with this DCFS case. My bills need to be paid, XYZ. So I'm going through all these loops and hoops and all of this stuff just to get my lights back on so me and my kids can get back in our house. So thank God, right before school started, the day the day before school started, I was able to get back in my house. I had to clean it out. It was a lot going on in here because I hadn't been in here in almost 2 months. My kids were actually afraid to even come in here, but I thank God that we got through that. Um, so once I came back home, I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be here. During the time when DCFS was called on me, my father I actually allowed my father to come and stay because, I was with the guy I was with. And, I spent a lot of time down there. My house was pretty much empty all the time. And my dad ended up losing his place because he was in the hospital for a couple of months due to the woman he was with basically trying to kill him. She slit his throat, she cut his chest open. Like, it was just a lot. So, me being his daughter, even though we really never had a close knit relationship, I said, okay, well, you can rent a room and, till you find you a place just to go from there, right? But he took that as, oh, you're going to be with him. Like, after a certain time, it's stuff that's in between this. But I believe that he took that as, okay, well, you down there with him. You really don't come home. You really don't do nothing. So I'm just going to move in your house, right? Now I'm on Section 8. And I'm knowing in my mind and my heart that I already ain't got no business letting you stay here. But by you being my daddy, I'm going to give you a month or two to get back on your feet, right? So he moves 5 people into my home, right? So when I find out that all of these, like, I met the girlfriend and I knew she came from out of town, but I'm thinking she just visiting. I had met her one day, this and third, and then next thing you know, when I see her again, she had the kids and stuff in the car. Um, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad you found you somebody. It's why I see y'all seem happy. But I'm not knowing he to move them into my house. Like, rearrange my whole house. Like, I had no living room furniture, I had no kitchen table, but all of our rooms had beds and dressers and stuff in them. And he rearranged my whole house, turned one of my rooms to 2 stories. He put his bedroom set up, all of this other stuff, and moved them into my house. So when I find out, I tell them, okay, y'all have to leave. Get them a certain time limit to be gone, XYZ. And push come to shove, I ended up putting the ladies out. And, I'm trying to, at this point, get my house back because me and Jack, I keep saying I'm not gonna keep saying these people's names. It's because this person I really don't want to give him no clout to, but God gonna get him for what he did to me. But by this point, me and the guy separated, and he was mad at me because I gave the note to my dad and his girlfriend for them to get out because he wanted me to stay with him. And I'm like, nah, I need my house. I can set up my beauty chair. You know, I'm working. I can set up my beauty chair. I can do this in my house, this, and the third, because I'm not making no money down here. I'm not progressing down here. Like, this is not working for me. So, you know, I went forward and did all that, got them all out of my house. And my dad tried to basically take over. Oh, I gotta leave this and the third. But thank God, God is who he is because certain situations happen to where code enforcement basically told him, absolutely not, sir, you are not on this lease. You have to vacate the premises. So I thank God for all of that because I ended up being able to put him out and everything. But throughout all of this, I'm still building up walls. You know, I'm still feeling like I have to defend myself around every corner. Because now at this point, I have to deal with DCFS. I have to figure out how I'm going to get my house back in order. I'm currently pregnant and high risk, so I have to figure out how kids are going to get clothes and coats and winter stuff, and Christmas is coming up. So I'm like consumed with all of these things in my brain and in my head, trying to figure it out, right? Meanwhile, this man is giving me absolutely everything that he could give. I mean, when I say from the rooter to the tutor, like he couldn't give me more. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, if y'all in a relationship, y'all know what men want and what they ask for. But it's hard. I'm gonna say was hard. 'Cause I want to speak in present tense because I'm trying to overcome this thing. But oh Lord, I don't want to start crying. But I say all of that just to give y'all a backstory of what I really go through when it comes to the opposite sex. I just don't trust them. But also, saying that kind of reminds me of God don't expect you to trust in him. He wants you to trust in him, right? Like, men are bound to let you down. Regardless if it's a man, regardless if it's a woman, we are humans, right? So there's gonna be some disappointment somewhere. And so throughout all of this, it's like I don't want to depend on a man to do for me. So I got angry, I got bitter, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do everything I can to kind of help him, to kind of, you know what I'm saying, get us to the point where we not solely dependent on him. So I'm still trying to do pickles, I'm still trying to do her, but my body is just really not allowing me to do these things. Like I can say this probably was a test from God, uh, trying trying to get me to humble myself. Um, because he literally put me in a situation that I just did not want to be in. And it was like, I don't want to solely depend on you. And it was like me not being able to trust, me not being able to fully submit. You know what I'm saying? Even though this man is giving me everything. When I say I'm sick, I'm throwing up, I'm going through all of this stuff. He washing clothes, he going to work 8 to 12 hours a day. He is, you know what I'm saying, cleaning up, he makes sure the kids are bathed, like, and I'm just down and sick. But all while I'm just getting angrier and more angrier because I physically cannot do anything. Right? And my daughter finna be 10, so I literally have been taking care of my kids by myself on my own for all of these years. Even when I was married, I did everything. I paid the bills, I cleaned up the house, I did absolutely everything. Like he would work, like there were times where I didn't work and he would work, but he didn't pay the bills. He didn't put none of the money in the house. When the kids need pampers or food or something, or baby milk or something, he would go steal. You know what I'm saying? So that was just like, absolutely not. I'm gonna get a job and do what I gotta do. So I'm used to taking care of my kids on my own, right? And so then all of a sudden this man just comes along and just start to try to do everything for me and try to be my absolute everything, and I can't receive it. And it's like it's one way in my head, and I feel like I know I have all of this baggage and all of this trauma inside of me, and my mental is just not okay. I did talk to a psychiatrist, and she basically told me I was going to have to take medicine to do everyday things, and that bothered me. You know, it disturbed me because I'm already upset that I had to face all of this trauma, and it's my responsibility to fix it when I want the one who done this to myself, you know. So I'm already feeling upset about that. Then here come this psychiatrist telling me that I'm gonna have to take medicine just to take care of myself and to take care of my kids. You know what I'm saying? Just to do everyday things, and just going through all of this stuff, really trying to figure out what's wrong and why I am the way I am and why I can't be consistent and why I can't stick to things. You know, I'm getting angrier and angrier the more I see myself, the more I realize what's wrong. You know, the more I see all of my problems. Because if you pray and ask God to show you yourself, He will definitely show you you. Whether you like it, whether it's pretty, whether, you know what I'm saying, no matter what it is, He will show you yourself. And it was one of my main prayers. I want to get better. I want to do better, God. Show me so I can fix it. And it was painful seeing myself go through all of that, seeing myself be so mean and ugly to somebody who didn't want to do nothing but love me, you know? So, um, fast forward to this past weekend when he left me. And then it's crazy because it's not the first time he left me. The first time we separated, I broke up with him because I was pregnant with my son, our son, and his mind just wasn't where I needed it to be. You know, I'm in my mindset is okay. I'm gonna go from 3 kids to 4 kids, so I have to reevaluate. You know, it's gonna be more. Something's gonna have to change. I have to figure out Pampers and this and that and crib and during this time I was homeless, and I ended up having to go to a domestic violence shelter because of threats from my ex-husband. So he was still in the, I want to say, honeymoon phase. Y'all know that phase when you meet somebody and, you know, because that's where we at. I was still at the point where I was suppressing all of my issues. So it was like mad sex and all of this passion and all this stuff because I was literally suppressing everything and like really just, you know, being a sexual person, you know what I'm saying, with him because I did love him. I wanted to be with him. You know what I'm saying? He made me feel secure. He made me feel like I had somebody, you know what I'm saying? And somebody had my back. So that's where I was. And then once I started to change when I got pregnant, he was not changing with me. So during that time, I let him go. And fast forward, you know, we break up, we decide to get back together, and he leaves me this time. And I'm like, okay, well, if you leave, don't come back. You know, I'm still being ignorant. I'm still, you know, I'm saying, suppressing all my problems. I'm smoking mad weed. I am like in and out of depression, like walking in and out the doggone door. Like it was bad for me. And he, you know, push come to shove, we ended up back together. So her 2023, and we back together. And this past Saturday, he left me again. And it just tore me up in the inside because in my mind, right? And I'm steady saying in my mind because, like I told y'all, at 9 years old, I closed myself in. I allowed myself to create this bubble that I felt like was protecting me, and it was not protecting me. I mean, I felt like I was protecting myself, but it made me build so many walls up against the outside. Um, it's just not healthy. It's not healthy. Um, so yeah, he left me, and when I say it tore me up in the inside, because I knew that throughout the past 4 or 5 months, I was pushing myself. Like from the time I started to feel better, all the way up until now, I push. Like when I say I will push myself because I can get depressed, and I used to. I'm gonna say used to. I used to get depressed and would just sit and just soak. Like, oh my God, clean house would get clean. I would probably order food just for the kids to eat. Like, wouldn't get up and bust a grape. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't get up and move, wouldn't clean up nothing. I would just be sitting in my bed smoking weed, smoking weed. So it was like I knew what I wanted. I know what I prayed for. I know that God shows me, and I believe in visions, I believe in dreams, I believe in all of that stuff because God literally will tell us things about ourselves or about our future, just to give us that to keep on going. And there were so many times where God showed me who I was after the struggle. He would show me who I am, after it was all over. But he didn't tell me how I was going to get there. So he would show me a piece of the end, or he would give me like a vision of, okay, I'm going to be transparent with y'all, like of books that I've written or events that I've thrown, or, what I'm saying, me being a model. And I'm not going to say like a high fashion model because that's not what God got for me. What I'm saying? It's some other creative stuff behind it. So, but modeling, what I'm saying? Or me being this having this bomb salon, what I'm saying, that I braid hair in, that's mine, and I'm running this business with these other, what I'm saying, stylists that, oh shoot, but these other stylists that are under me, you know? I just seen a mouse. I hate go. I need a cat. It's some of the stuff that I literally, that bothers the mess out of me because I can only afford to live out here for now. And I really want to get myself to the point where I don't have to slum in the slums. It's abandoned houses everywhere you turn out here. And literally every other house in this neighborhood is abandoned. So it's kind of like either I'm coming out of $200 and $300 a month for pest control, or I'm sitting there buying nice traps and this, that, and the third, trying to get rid of this stuff. Like, it's a pain. But that's another subject for another day, y'all. Don't judge me because it's people houses that are way worse. I can show y'all my house right now. It is clean. It is spotless. The only thing I gotta do is mop my floors. Literally. Like this morning when I got up, I did a whole clean sweep from my laundry room to, what I'm saying, my kitchen, my living room. Like my house is clean, and I make sure that I clean up before I go to bed because I know how this neighborhood is and how it can get. I've been here for almost 3 years. But Lord have mercy, that just disturbed my household. But that's another subject for another day. Y'all don't judge me. Don't judge me. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot of people who don't clean their house and their stuff is trifling. So don't judge me. But yeah, he left me. And I ended up being in a situation where I had to ask for help. See, this is what God will do. Um, I was being ungrateful. I didn't think I was being ungrateful though, because in my mind, I felt like the push that I was giving and how I would make sure the house was clean and make sure when he would get home, maybe about 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, I would make sure there was no dishes in the sink, make sure food was cooked, clothes was washed. Like I'm pushing, right? To make sure all of this stuff done. And I felt like that was showing him my appreciation. But he would always be like, "Oh, you don't show me no affection. You don't show me no love. You know what I'm saying? When I come through the door, you just be like, hey, cause I did, cause I did. There was no hugs, there was no kisses, there was no none of that, right? And this man is literally giving me absolutely everything he has. He going to work to a job that he really don't even like, just to make sure the bills get paid. All of this now, mind you, he left me Saturday. And, during what's today? Tuesday, Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. And throughout all of this, because he could have just left, right? And not said nothing, just disappeared. And I'm going through my stuff. We barely got food in the refrigerator, so I'm literally having to ask for help for food. Now, I can be prideful. Something else that I have to overcome, right? My pride. And I know I needed to ask for help because me being high risk, I can't make no money. So that means I can't get nobody no gas money to take me to these pantries. And I really didn't know who I was gonna ask because I feel like if you take me somewhere, I need to give you some gas money, right? So I'm like, Lord, I just don't even know what to do. I don't want to ask my god sister, even though I know she'll do it. But people have families, and I think about that. I don't like to be a burden on nobody. I don't want to have to ask nobody too many times for stuff. And it's pride. It's pride, and it can be a bad thing. It is a bad thing. Being prideful is a sin. I believe that. Being prideful is a sin. Um, but I didn't want to like ask, just keep calling all of these people like, oh, can you? And then I get a no, oh, can you? And then I get a no, oh, can you? You know what I'm saying? And people like, oh, you don't want everybody in your business and this and the third. No, ma'am, Pam. So what I did was I posted a status on Facebook saying I need help. I got myself basically, uh, I didn't really say it like this, but basically, I got myself in a situation and I need some help. Ain't no food in my refrigerator, and I got these 4 kids to feed. It wasn't, in these words, but I'm kind of paraphrasing. Like, I need some help. Like, I need some help. So, I thank God that He did put it on a few people's hearts to bless us. To a few people came and brought groceries. I'm gonna say my church home because I still love my church home. I have been on and off member of MDT for a long time, and I hate that I'm not consistent because going to church and being in the church where people do love you, and there's a pastor who actually literally, what I'm saying, watches out for your soul and preaches the truth, like regardless of how salty it is, or regardless of how people may perceive it, he speaks the word. You know what I'm saying? Um, like people can say what they want to say. A lot of my trauma did stem from church and people that went to church because we went to church growing up and they faked the funk. But that's a whole nother story for another day. I had to realize that I don't come in this church building for these people. You can be backbiting, you can be talking about me, or you can be looking at me sideways, judging me, but I didn't come here for that. I came here for what I know that I can get from God. You know what I'm saying? I came here for me. Like when I walk in the church house, it be me and God. I don't pay nobody no attention. And I learned that as an early age because I used to be like, oh, look at what she got. And like as a kid, look at what she got. And look at how pretty she is. And look at her hair. They just have everything. She got the perfect parents. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be really envious of the pastor's daughter. And it was because I just felt like she had the perfect parents. She had the perfect life. Like, why couldn't I be her? Right? But growing up, I had to realize I got to stop doing it. I got to quit being jealous of people. I have to quit, being envious and wanting what the next person had because my life was what my life was and I couldn't change it. So when I do go to church, I go for a connection. I go for the word. I go for what God has for me, the word He has for me, the anointing He has for me. All like that's my main goal when I go to church. I try my hardest. Like My kids distract me when I go to church, and I know that ain't nothing but the devil, but I try my hardest to stay focused on God when I go to church because you can be distracted by everything around you. The people, you can be looking at this, looking at that, and then don't know nobody business because you can be real distracted if you all in people's business. It's just gonna distract you all the way. You really not gonna get nothing. But I try my hardest to be um focused on God. So I forgot where I was at. So back to Wayne leaving me. Um, this man left me and kept all my bills on auto pay. He left me and told me that he still was gonna pay my bills. He told me that I was his wife no matter what, right? And I asked him, well, if you feel like all of this and you love me so much, why would you leave me? Right? And he was like, you disrespectful. I don't like the way you talk to me. You don't show me love. You don't show me affection. The kids don't like me, and I can't really, he think the kids don't like him, but my kids love him. The kids are kids. So I have to tell him, like, you can't expect my kids, all of them who are under 10, to just be perfect, right? You're going to have to tell them stuff more than once. I do allow my kids to have a voice to a certain extent, and he does feel like I let them disrespect me. But that choice came from all the trauma that I went through and how I was told to shut up, and what goes on in this house stays in this house. So I allow my daughter to have a voice. Like, my boys ain't too bad. Like PJ, he kind of is, but by me allowing them to have a voice, I can recall times where I was depressed, sitting in front of my stove while it was on, my oven while it was on, smoking blunt after blunt after blunt. And my son came to me and said, I thought you was going to stop doing that. So I'm kind of glad I gave my kids a voice to a certain extent. But now I am at the point where I have to show my daughter that it's okay to be quiet. It's okay not to say everything that's on your mind to say, right? It's okay not to be loud. It's okay to have an opinion and not speak on it. So that's kind of where I'm at with my daughter. But I'm realizing that I'm the problem. I'm realizing that giving in to somebody who not only loves you but shows you that he loves you, does everything for you, is giving you absolutely everything, it's okay. It's not you just giving in. Because, back in my ex-marriage, I used to do things just because we was married and he was my husband. So there were times where I found myself having sex when I didn't want to, going to work for 8 hours, catching the bus home, taking 2 hours, so that's 8, 9, 10, and that's 12 hours a day. Being gone, having to come home, clean up the house, cook for the kids, and then still have sex with him for 2 hours. Then the night, then wake up in the morning and do it all over again because he wanted it in the morning and in the night, right? So that's why it was kind of hard for me to submit to Wayne. Um, there was times where I would tell him no, I was not being affectionate. Like, I got better as I started to feel better in my body. Like, I would get better and I started to do it more, but he was still tired. Like, I get it. He was still fed up. He was still at the point where he was giving me and the children everything. Like, you the only one working. You really the only one putting, what I'm saying, all of these hours in, bringing in money. So you going to work from here all the way out to St. Louis. Like, that's gas upon gas. And then you stressed out. So, you know what I'm saying? He had his habits, or you spending all of your money on the bills. and we trying to get caught up, and then holidays coming, and then school, and the kids need clothes, then shoes, getting two little kids need shoes. So you're doing absolutely everything on one income, and you get paid every 2 weeks. So it seemed like you would get paid and your money would be gone to the point where next week you got to borrow money just to get back and forth to work. So that can be a lot. And for a long time, I didn't look at it from his side. I was only looking at it from my side. Oh, I can't do this. I can't make money. I can't help you with the bills. I can't do that. I can't do this. This, that, and the third. My body is this, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do this. And that's all he was saying. And I would get mad when he, like, it was coming from a lot of the times when I would fuss. It came from good intentions because when he would wash clothes, he would use way too much washing powder. That was being wasteful. And by us only having one income, like I used to fuss about that. He would, when he washed dishes, and he would use a drop of water. Instead of making dishwashing liquid, he would put a drop of dishwashing liquid in each dish and wash it. And I would fuss about that. And I'm like, you just being wasteful. Like, you're not thinking that we only have one income. This stuff has to last. Cleaning supplies have to last. Washing powder have to last. My kids don't wear uniforms, so we wash constantly. Then we pay 3 water bills out here in Cahokia. Then the light bill, of course, then went up because of inflation. And then I can't even mention the trash bill because we ain't even paid that at all and been able to catch up on that at all. So we find places to dump our trash. And that's even a risk in itself. You know what I'm saying? The internet bill, you know what I'm saying? We all need the internet. I'm gonna say we all need the internet because I really only got 2 TVs, so it's like money is tight. Money is tight, tight. So me being a nagging partner, and even though I was going through all of my mental stuff, because I still am, because I'm still a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna promise y'all that I'm gonna have a conversation with him and not bust out in tears. But me going through everything I was going through, I can't. Even though it's hard, it really is hard to balance mental issues with your kids, your household, and your man. It's hard. It really is hard. But I can try harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the easier I make it for him, the easier he's gonna make it for me. He already paying all my bills. So, I could give a little more. And it's just something that I've been realizing over the last few days, especially with having to humble myself and ask for help, which again, I thank everybody who sent cash apps, who sent groceries, who, what I'm saying, even reached out, because once I got to the point where I felt like we had enough food to last us until I got food stamps, I reposted it, and I'm like, okay, y'all, we have enough food, this, and the third. But people were reposting my post. People were still calling and checking up on us, making sure that we didn't need anything else. And I just thank each and every one of y'all. I truly appreciate everything, because being a person who has closed herself off into her own mind, I really feel like I'm alone. I really feel like I'm handling, oh God, I really feel like I'm handling everything by myself and on my own. But I just thank God that He has been showing me that I'm not alone. I thank God that He has been showing me that I'm not by myself. People do love me. I don't have to go through this by myself. I don't have to be angry. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with every tear. I'm okay with every struggle because I want to be better. Because I want to do better. I want to see who I am, on the other side of this struggle. I want to see who God says that I am. I want to be able to be successful and show my kids that you can do absolutely anything you put your mind to. So, with that being said, I am going to go back and get to school and get my GED. Um, I'm actually finna start studying now. I think I'm gonna do each portion separately. Like I'm gonna do study math, take the math test, language arts, social studies, and science is 4 parts. And I'm just doing them separately. I'm gonna focus on math, take the math section, focus on social studies, take the social studies, and do each one of them like that. And God's willing, I'll be able to get it all done before I have my baby in March. I'm giving myself to March to get all of these sections completed, if not all of them, at least most of them. You know what I'm saying? And cause they Sweet has I want to say Sweet has a graduation every May, so I want to walk in that graduation. I want for my kids to see me walk across the stage, to see and know that I completed something and you can do the same. So that's my goal. Like I want to apologize to Wayne publicly because you still don't deserve all the disrespect. I'm sorry. It's a lot for somebody to handle and for somebody to deal with, especially when you really don't have to be here. You don't have to do everything that you're doing, even though you're still choosing. Like I'm not asking you to do none of this stuff, so that's how I know. You know what I'm saying? They got to be coming from a place of love because I'm not asking you to do none of this. Like when he first moved in, he asked me about the bills, and I was just go mute. Like I don't want you paying all my bills. Like I don't want to depend on you. And God is really trying to get me at a place where I'm not being private. Like I'm not being selfish in a way. Because it's like, oh, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do that. It's always, I don't want, or I don't want, or I don't want, or I don't feel like, I don't this, I don't that. And that can be selfish ways. But I honestly thank God for as much growth as I have gotten so far. Um, I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait to get to the other side of all of this mess and be in my big pretty house in a nice neighborhood where I ain't got to worry about mice and bugs. Uh, I'm 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 prepared for the journey. I'm ready for the journey. And it's like no matter what I face, God is the most important thing. Like I know I have God by my side. As much as I didn't backslid, as much as I didn't, what I'm saying, went my own way, God still loves me. And there are people out there who do love me and have my back, you know. Um, I don't try to be a burden on people so I can get to a point where I will close myself off and not ask for help or, what I'm saying, not reach out. Like I'm not a sociable person, see. Because like me and my best friend, like I cannot talk to her for weeks and then we'll just have a conversation and it'll just be like old times, and that was normal for me because for a long time she was my only friend. Like I've had others, but far as like, yeah, she's been pretty much the only one. But God has been putting different people in my life, showing me that it's okay to be friendly. It's okay to be sociable because there's things that other people go through that can help me, and there's things that I've gone through that can help other people. So that's why I chose to start a YouTube channel. That's why I chose to be so public. That's why I chose to make the post that I made on yesterday because I have to be transparent. Because if I can't be transparent with y'all, I can't be transparent with myself. And I'm really at the point where I want to be transparent with myself. I want to figure out who Taisha really is, right? So it's like I gotta be an open book. Not so open. And I keep a little stuff to myself, but I gotta be an open book because at the end of the day, God didn't make me go through what I've went through for no reason. I meant to help people, so I gotta get used to people. So with all of that being said, all of those tears being shed, I love y'all. I truly, truly love y'all. I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you made it to the end of this video, go ahead and give me a like. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload another video. I'm gonna try to stay consistent, y'all. Like, I don't care if y'all call me or text me and ask me what I'm doing if I study my test, study for my GED test. I don't mind. Ask me if I prayed today. Like, hold me accountable because I want to be held accountable because I want to be better and I want to do better. I might get annoyed, but it's okay. I still want to be held accountable. Um, but yeah, I love y'all and I thank y'all for watching this video. And it's only up from here. Y'all don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay? Don't judge me. Okay? Because y'all will. When I post this on Facebook, I know you little rit rats gonna be all up in the comments or something when y'all heard about the little mice or whatever. Stop acting like y'all don't have no mice. I'm gonna give me a cat. So all the mice just gonna go away. That's what I need. I need a little cute cat around here. Maybe I live in the hood. Come on now. I better get with it. I'm trying to get out the hood. I just gotta post these videos consistently. But I love y'all. I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. And just continue to watch and see my journey, see my glow up. Because, I got this hat on. My hair ain't done. It's permed. It's a little slick down. But, we ain't whipped and flipped right now. But it's okay. Because it gets better. I know it gets better. I believe it gets better as long as I don't give up. I love y'all and